the idea of energy, like how much energy do I have to move my muscles? Or how much energy do I have to walk? That's a very scientific way of looking at energy. But going a layer deeper, we can, and this is still scientific, we can think of it as life force. How much life force do we have? How much feeling, subjective experience of energy do we have? Very subjective. And in different cultures, we call it different things. So in the East, it's called chi energy. Or in India, they will call it prana, that life force energy, that subjective experience. And the things that drain us of energy are, first of all, our diet. Yeah? So are we having junk food, processed food, heavy foods? That lowers our prana and our life force. Or are we having healthy foods, foods which are full of that life force, and they tend to be ones that absorb most of the sunlight. So fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, things that have been in the sun, absorbing that life force. Yeah? And then sleep, of course, drains our life force. So if we haven't had good sleep, both the length and the depth of sleep, if that hasn't been good enough, that will drain our life force. And that's what we're working on in this program. As we retrain our brain, over time, our sleep will become more regulated and deeper. So those are two sources of that life force. The other most important source of life force is actually what drains our life force. So naturally, we will have that life force, but it is worrying. Unconscious patterns and thoughts that drains the life force. Each time we worry or allow worries to fester in our minds, it drains our life force. And we all experience that, where we're feeling calm and relaxed and something new comes along. And in my meditation, what did I say there? There's only two things generally going on in our mind. We're either worrying about a situation, or angry at a past situation, worrying about a future situation, or we're resisting a person and their personality. Yeah, think about it. What goes on in this little mind of ours tends to be one of those two things. Worrying about the future, or angry, regretting something in the past, or resisting a person in our lives, something they said, the way they're acting. Is it so easy? We could boil everything down to pretty much those two things, right? And when those things exist, they still exist, but when those things are existing, that worrying about the future, if we, at the same time, just observe the worries and don't let ourselves get carried away, we drain less of that life force. We hang on to more of that life force within us. And that's why we're doing this work. The two places that have the highest life force, or three places actually. Number one is forests. And in ancient Japanese culture, they actually forest bathe. We talk about sunbathing. They have forest bathing, where they actually go and walk in forests in order to raise that chi energy. The second one is the ocean. So walking near an ocean or bathing in an ocean. In many Mediterranean cultures, for instance, in Greek culture, they know that if they're in the ocean for 20 to 30 minutes, that improves their mental state, because they're picking up on that life force which is within the ocean. And the third one are mountains. Why do you think most monasteries or ashrams from all different cultures and religions are in the mountains? Because mountains themselves bring you that higher life force and that higher life energy. So how can you at practical level spend more time in some of those places? I will be practical. I don't want you to have that worry, oh no, I'm not going to heal unless I'm living in a mountain now, right? But how can you create opportunities for spending more time in those types of places?